Well, you're all packed and ready to go on that cruise, but you get to the airport, they weigh your luggage and they say, too much. Well, how do you know if you've overpacked? Stay tuned, watch this first video in my series, and see if you've overpacked. Hi, this is Grandma Bev from Life with Grandma Bev, and welcome to my channel. Now, I've been doing these videos for almost 3 years, and when I started out, my intention was to do cruise videos, videos of places we've been to while on cruises, and then the big sea happened. So I had to branch into other things. So I've been doing all kinds of other videos dealing with my life since that time. Well, now we are getting ready to finally get back into cruising. So I'm going to do this 10-part tips on cruising for all of you. Now, a lot of these are, it's notes I've taken through those years, as well as my own experience. Now, my experience is, got an itch. Also, what you see is what you get. I don't edit these or take little things out. I'm just a goofball, as people can tell you. Okay, I got started in cruising just about 32 years ago. My husband and I took our first cruise on our honeymoon, and we got addicted. So we're getting, I think, close to 25 now. At least we will be by the end of the summer. But then I started deciding I wanted to sell cruises. So I went to travel school. This was back in the 90s. And learned all about booking cruises and other, airlines, all that stuff. But I concentrated on cruising. So I did several group cruises. But during that time is when the internet started closing down a lot of the travel agencies. So I kind of lost the job there, I mean, that was on top of my regular job. That was my fun job. So now that things have progressed and we're in the 2020s, I've learned to get onto YouTube. Even this old granny at 72 years old has figured out how to get onto YouTube and make channel content. So I'm still a little rusty and I make a lot of mistakes, but that's part of the age because, your brain starts getting not as, So being it's time, we're going to be going on a riverboat cruise. We're leaving home on July 20th. And we'll be back August 8th or 9th, something like that. But one of the first things you've got to do with cruising is pack. Now, I'm a weirdo. I start packing and getting things together months, sometimes years in advance. But I'm going to go over the 10 signs that you've done a terrible job packing for your cruise. Now, some people have it down to a science. I like to hope that we do, But some of the signs that you've done a cruddy job is you forgot your dress shoes. Now, when we started cruising back in the old days, in the early 90s, all the ships had formal nights, and you felt out of place if you didn't dress up. The interesting part was so the men could go online with the cruise line and order a tuxedo and shoes and everything, right? So when they got on the ship, there it was waiting for them. Not us ladies. We had to figure out what to wear, and of course with bringing a dressy dress comes the shoes, the jewelry, if it's cold in the ship, which a lot of times it is, a shawl, little more of a dressy little purse to carry around. Oh, don't mind me, my glasses like to slip. So one thing that you might forget pertaining to formal nights, and luckily most of the ships are doing away with them. Bob and I just started not even bothering. We just figured on the formal nights, we're gonna go eat in the buffet, or go eat in one of the outside restaurants that they have. So that's worked out okay for us because we've tried to really limit how much we bring, because that's heavy stuff to lug around like an airport, or if you're taking trains while you're there, going places before you get to your ship. So we just decided neither one of us likes to dress up. So I'll bring maybe fancier top and a little, like a slinky pair of pants, slacks, and that's it. Nobody cares. Most of the people are doing that now. But if you do opt for dressing formal, one of the things, number one, is you forgot your dress shoes or your underwear. Well, I'd say who would forget their underwear, but I do remember a trip when my dad forgot his underwear. So it's not like when you're on a ship, you can go in the little shops and buy a pair of fancy shoes. I mean, maybe they'd have them, but you'd spend an arm and a leg. And when they're talking about underwear, they're talking about maybe the special kind you need to wear under a dress, like special bras or things like that, that won't show, that kind of stuff. So the only way you'd be able to get what you left at home was when you go to your first port of call, and then you're still going to pay an arm and a leg. So a pro tip is, use a packing list. Prepare your packing list months ahead as you think of things. Write them down and check the items off as you put them in your suitcase to avoid this problem on future cruises. Keep that list too for the next cruise. Okay, now what happens if the airline loses your luggage and you have no change of clothes? That happened to me. All the cruises we've taken, it has happened once. And part of that is because I think, we were flying from Seattle, but we needed to get to Copenhagen. So we had to go Seattle through Amsterdam, change planes, go to Copenhagen. So I think your chances are greater if you're changing planes. Luckily, I got them the day before we got on the ship, and we went several days early. So you don't have anything to wear. I ended up wearing a pair of my husband's shorts because his suitcase came. I wore a pair of his shorts for a change of clothes and a pair of his underwear. So while you can't control that, what happens with the airlines, especially now, you can control whether or not you've packed a change of clothes and some essentials in your carry-on bag. Pack your carry-on bag with the most important items you must have should your suitcase go missing. That includes like medications, toiletries. I pack my toiletries. I'm going to pack, like a couple of changes of underpants, a couple of pairs of shorter pants because I'll wear long ones on the plane, and my big tennis shoes on the plane, so those don't have to fit in the suitcase. But a couple of t-shirts too, so that's all. That's not really a lot. And if you put it in one of those packing cubes, you can really get them to smoosh down and fit it down in the bottom of your carry-on bag. Now, more than likely, you're going to check your luggage, so you can have two carry-on things. I would have like a regular carry-on, good-sized bag, a bigger purse to lug stuff in, but I'll have packed a smaller purse for when I get to where I'm at. But the bigger one will help carry more stuff because, I have structural problems, so that's older people have to be careful how much we're trying to move around an airport. So, another thing that some people go through is you sweat through embarkation day in your winter clothes. I suggest you always go to your cruise exit port a day or two or even 2 days, before you sail. Not only do you have peace of mind, you're going to get there in time to get transferred to the ship, but it gives you time to get over your jet lag too. So what I do is I wear my longer pants on the plane. I wear my clunky tennis shoes or walking shoes on the plane because that takes up a lot of room in the suitcase. And my old a little hoodie jacket thing that I usually have in case I need them. Because where we leave, it's usually colder. And then once you get to your destination, if you've packed in your carry-on a change of shorter clothes and things, cooler clothes, you can put those on if it's hotter where you're at. If not, keep your longer pants on and put on a extra different t-shirt that you've carried with you. Let's see. Here's a biggie, and I've been guilty of this too. You don't wear half the clothes you brought. Now I get to where I've got so many cute tops and things I want to bring that I bring a whole bunch with me. And half the time I end up wearing the same 5 or 6, mixing and matching them with bottoms. I don't bring a lot of bottoms either. I try to coordinate the clothing to match my clothes. I need to take a break. Always have a bottle of water with you. We bring just enough underwear for the trip. If it starts getting almost to the end, you find out maybe you're running out of underwear for some reason, you can always wash a pair in your sink and hang it to dry. Now, I don't bring like laundry soap or powder with me because odds are I'm not going to use it. You can just use the soap they provide in your bathroom there. I mean, it's only for what, 1 or 2 times, So, it says you don't really need to bring your entire closet on vacation. Well, that would be impossible for me. So the age-old take half the clothes and twice the money. If it doesn't work for you, at least plan and pack only 1 outfit for each day and night of your cruise. I only pack a few for the nighttime because I'm only wearing them a couple hours. Luckily we don't sweat a lot. Remember, no one will notice if you wear the same outfit to dinner on 2 different evenings. Really, they won't. I don't remember what the old Jill Schmo wore. I don't care anymore. As you get older, you really don't care anymore. You're doing laundry every other day. I do not go on a cruise or go on vacation to do laundry. The only time I've had laundry done was one of our cruises. My luggage got all wet because it was pouring, sitting out in the rain, waiting to get on the ship, and my clothing got wet inside, and so I made use of it then. But otherwise, don't do your laundry unless you really, really have to. And sometimes it's just easier to rinse out your sink, your bathroom, what it is, and hang it to dry. They always have these little string things, that go over the toilets. Okay. Now, here's a biggie you don't want to forget. You've packed your camera, your e-reader, in case you read off an e-reader, and cell phone. Now, I do all my recording through my cell phone. But you forgot the cords and chargers. Luckily, one of us always remembers. We've always remembered, but at least I know he's got his packed separately. He knows I've got mine all packed separately. So we can always take turns recording. And we do a lot of it like when we're, during the night when we're sleeping, we'll plug in everything. So let's see what's next. Okay, you can't carry your own bags. Now, some of you real young, strong people, maybe you can, but I have seen people bring so many bags along, and some of them have one bag's shoes, one bag's this, one bag's that, It says 1 large suitcase and 1 substantial carry-on should be enough for most people on a week-long cruise. I find that's enough for a 2-week cruise also. If you find yourself wishing for a steamer trunk, we point you back to the tips I said earlier about bringing too much. But we do. We both have our big suitcase. We both have carry-on. And like say in this case, because we'll be checking in our luggage, you know, with it being, we'll be gone 3 weeks. I'll probably carry on 2, you know, lightweight, you know, carry-on bag and a bigger carry-on thing, things that will go like crossbody. So I'm carrying them, you know, at least one like that. Now we did go, I gotta admit, we did go on a week-long Caribbean cruise this past January. And we managed to fit everything in just our carry-on bag. And I mean the carry-on suitcase kind, you know, the 21, 22 incher. And then we had, you know, a regular carry-on. So always make sure you can fit your purse if you feel like you have to have a separate purse, that it can fit in your other carry-on bag that's going to go into the seat, so that, you know, they don't say, oh, you got to check something in. So we made it with just a smaller carry-on bag, but we'll be using the big one. And like I say, the older you get, the harder it is to slug that stuff around, you know? So that will do it on that subject. Security pulls you over. Have you packed a gun, a bottle of rum, illegal drugs, an iron, a drone, a hoverboard? Packing fail. Passengers are not allowed to bring these items on board. Alarms will go off, and you could get summoned to explain your packing choices to cruise ship security or possibly law enforcement officials. So I would go online and check to see what is not allowed. And don't try to sneak things in. People try to sneak in booze and stuff, and they think they're being clever by sticking in other things, like other bottles of things, you know. Their security is wise to that. Why take the risk? It's not that important. You can get the booze on board. I know you pay for it, but one of my other videos, I'll be talking about how to get cheap booze. Okay, my 10th thing is authorities refuse to let you on board. Wouldn't that be terrible? A lot of the cruise lines are saying now that you don't have to have a COVID test, and that's particularly like in Europe. I think the ones going out of like Florida, you do, but that changes. So check the couple of days before your cruise. Heaven forbid you forget your passport. Now what we started doing, even if they say we don't need it, we bring our passport and we've got a little, you know, like a little plastic little thing, holder with our vaccination records on it. Because you never know. And that's all I have on here, are those 10. But like I say, if they don't let you on, man, would I be upset. After years now of planning for these cruises, because I mean, I've had 5, 6 cruises canceled or postponed during the pandemic. So, yeah, I know I've probably forgotten something to mention, but I'm going to do, like I say, a 10-part series on cruising. So what I don't cover in one, I'm liable to cover in another. And of course, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I hope you've enjoyed this first one. Please comment below, share, especially to people who cruise. Like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming 9 after this one. Little tidbits. And I know you can watch a lot of people doing the same things, but you know, mine's different. It's showing from an older person's point of view too, and there are a lot of older people who like to cruise. Of course, most of them already have it down to a T, but you know, every time I watch a video on cruising from somebody, I learn something. So you're never too old to learn anything. I hope you're all having a good day. I love you all. Bye.